YouTube, hello, howdy, hi, good evening, or day, depending on your availability. The day ends today. I still haven't worked out how to... whatever. It's the Judge that we all know and love. The final day of Phoenix Wright for... oh, we're definitely finishing this today. I can't imagine. All we have left is this court. There's no more investigating after this. Court is now in session for the trial of Iris of Hazakura Tempo. This fucker. God, I can't wait for you to never be in these games again. You, I look forward to seeing again. Your Honor, what are you... Who, me? Well, my little brother came to visit me in my chambers earlier this morning. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, he developed a scorching fever and fainted. Therefore, I'll be standing in for him. I love that the first case was Edgeworth von Karma and a completely new judge, and then the second day of trial is just the same old, same old. Bully? No. Just no. Ahem. Unban Nathan. Nathan, you're unbanned. Next time we seeing him, he'll be Hobo Phoenix. It's true! He'll also be Dad Phoenix, so... I don't know much about Apollo Justice. I barely remember it, and I never even finished it. But I'll play it when we get there. I see, Your Honor. So they're brothers. That explains a lot. Although not why one of them's Canadian. Whole cast has been changed between day 1 and 2. Yes. As long as we don't see Bikini or Larry on the stand. My poor brother. He looked a bit pale. Not to mention sad that he couldn't be here. The first case is really good, if you say so. It's impossible to predict what the future has in store for any of us. This is precisely why people feel the need to judge the past. Right, you use the past to learn and then not make the same mistakes. That's how it works. And we of the court have been charged with the solemn duty of passing such judgment. Okay? Well said, Mr. Godot. I understand exactly what you said, at least up until the end, anyway. Now then, Mr. Godot, please proceed with your opening statement. Humans are fragile, fickle beings. Our hearts change with the shifting of the tides. Godot, shut the fuck up. Just do your statement. There is only one that remains a constant in this crazy world. Is it coffee? The bitter darkness that lies at the bottom of this mug. Yeah, fucking wild. Who could have seen that coming? So then you mean... forget it. What do you mean? During yesterday's trial, the accused refused to admit to her role in this crime. But today, she has had a change of heart. Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple has a confession to make. Confession? The defendant? Edgy much, Godot? Well, listen, we've established as canonical fact that of the 3 games, he is easily the worst and stupidest of the prosecutors. Not counting Payne. But, you know, does anyone really ever count Payne? So, you know, he's honestly, he's keeping it just about where he always keeps it. Iris, why didn't you discuss this with me first? Very well. This court will now hear the defendant's confession. It fucked me up because I didn't do the judge's voice for the longest time. Case 4 was all the Canadian, and then this case started with the Canadian. Took way too much time off from this judge. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. First of all, knock it off with the sexism. Secondly, you do that with every witness. That's just standard. Case 4 had Atlas? Who? What? The company that made Persona? And Francesca's your girl? Yeah, Francesca's good. My name is Iris. I'm but a simple nun undergoing training at Hazakura Temple. Witness, is there something you want to confess to? Yes, but first, I want to apologize to Mr. Wright. I can't continue lying to everyone anymore. It's alright. What is it? Oh, the Atlas voice. I see. Yes. Sorry, wouldn't that be spelled Atlas with a second A, like the book or the Greek character? Atlas with a U is the game company. I fuck that up constantly, by the way. But yeah, Atlas with a U is the game company. Atlas with an A, like the map, is the Greek term. And I think also what the guy from BioShock called himself. It's been a while since I played BioShock, so I don't remember, but I think he went with, like, the Greek Atlas. Atlas from BioShock. Yes, I understand what you're saying. BioShock Atlas. You broke your bus this morning? I saw that on Discord right before I started. Yeah, Atlas is with an A in BioShock. With a U is the game company, Jeppo. It's a second A, like the book, an Atlas. How do you break a bus? You just snap it over your fat cock? What were you doing with it?
Mr. Wright, I have to admit, I did play a part in this terrible incident.
Atlas. Yes, indeed.
Are you actually confessing? Are you saying you were the one who murdered Miss Elise Dunim?
No, I'm not, Your Honor. But I dealt with the cover-up after the murder took place. After her spirit left, I took the lifeless shell of Mystic Elise and carried it to Hazakura Temple Courtyard, where I desecrated it.
What?
Well, shit. Driving it. So yeah, I didn't have time to read the full story. Did you hit something or just the engine crap out?
Order in the court. Witness, are you saying you were an accomplice to the murder?
Yes, that's correct.
What? 3 minutes in court and I'm already covered in a cold sweat. Ha! Everyone on the planet is an accomplice to something. It just happens to be that in this case, it's to murder. Yeah, we heard, Godot. So fucking what? What's your point? Isn't that right, Mr. Trite? It sounds that way. She didn't tell me. All I know is you coached her into saying this.
That Godot. So this is the confession they were conferring about.
Driving at the brakes gave up? Ah, yep. I'll do that. Every 10,000 miles or so, which reminds me, I gotta get to 15,000 miles. I gotta get to swapping the old brakes out. New brake pads. It pains me to say this, but it looks like Iris's testimony was all a lie. What the fuck? Why? No! Maybe we need... forgot. Now then, little lady, if you don't mind, I've got a question for you. He's covered in cold sweat most of the time, it's true. Whose crime were you trying to cover up by your actions? Iris is covering for someone. Ugh, now I'm definitely up the creek without a paddle or a life jacket. That's not an expression. Why did I add that second part?
I've been at Hazakura Temple ever since I was a little girl. Hazakura Temple is run by one of the branch families of Kyorain tradition.
There you go, they address it.
One of our missions is to protect the main family.
I'm sorry, but main family?
Yes, and that's why I would dirty myself, if need be, to protect her. The daughter of the master of Kyorain channeling technique, Mystic Maya Fey.
No! Huh? Hey, Godot, weren't you the one saying we need to protect these girls, and now you're aiding and abetting the woman trying to destroy them? Very cool of you, thanks. Love it, appreciate it. Wake up and smell the coffee, trite. She's naming Maya? It was the new air tanks? Hate to see that. Still, though, good thing you're insured. Or the bus, at least, is. I assume it is. It'd be very weird if it wasn't.
Order in the court. Not only did you witness the murder, you know the name of the murderer.
Especially if it was a technical malfunction like that and not your fault. Was anyone hurt, I guess is the most important thing, Tim.
I'm terribly sorry, but it's true. I saw her commit the crime with my very own eyes. And then I cleaned up the area to try and protect her.
That's ridiculous! Maya could never do such a...
The defendant will refrain from commenting until the appropriate time.
Well, that's why it's an objection, Your Honor.
Now then, witness, let's hear your testimony. what exactly happened on the night of the crime?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought I was prepared for the unexpected, but I never imagined the case would wind up going in this direction.
I went to the inner temple that night and saw it all happen in the garden. I saw Mystic Elise strike Mystic Maya with her staff.
What? Why?
While Mystic Maya was still stumbling, Mystic Elise moved in to deliver a fatal strike. Mystic Maya tried desperately to defend herself and stole that weapon. It was only in self-defense. You can't blame her for it.
Oh. I mean, that would exonerate her. I'm just saying.
So it was in self-defense.
Yes, Mystic Elise was the one who attacked first. That's why I tried my best to protect Mystic Maya.
You moved the victim's body to the temple so that Maya wouldn't be suspected. Isn't that right? Not bad. You've got the instincts of a true criminal. Something's not quite right. I'm sure it was established yesterday that Iris never went to the inner temple that night. And that the person who did go was that woman. Iris even admitted it. Touche, Mr. Wright. I was gonna say the problem with this story is that she would have used the sword in the cane and not just beat her about with a cane. More importantly, why would she attack her own daughter? That's definitely kind of a big, excuse me, situation we find ourselves in. But, yeah, also, Iris never went, but Dahlia did. So if you were at the temple, would that make you Dahlia, question mark? But then, where's Iris, also question mark? Now then, Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. See, I'm out of practice. Canadian judge too well. At the inner temple that night. Sister Iris, your testimony has changed quite a bit since yesterday. You stated that yesterday, on the night of the murder, you didn't go to the inner temple. Objection. Did she now? Too bad for you. What she said yesterday doesn't mean much today. Fucking yes, it does! That's what perjury is! By the way, where were you when she claimed that she didn't go? I was in the inner temple it was the inner temple's training hall. A private conversation between the two of you. Since fucking when? Since fucking when has that ever been true? Every single goddamn case has relied on a private conversation between the two of us. What do you mean? Also, I think Von Karma was there, so not even that private. You've established Maya and Dunim were mother and daughter in court yet? True, but that's the thing, they don't know this. It's a good angle to attack later. Exactly. Stopped to pick up a student, and the parking brake wouldn't release. Oh, that kind of brake, yeah. Well, it sounds like that's the right time for the brake to not be working when you were already stopped and everyone was safe. Probably annoying, but I'm gonna assume no one was hurt, and I'm glad for that, Tim. Hopefully you'll get a new or fixed bus very soon. That would be properly described as hearsay.
What you have to say, witness?
I just couldn't tell him the truth at that time. Mystic Maya, she's your girlfriend, isn't she?
No?
I didn't want to be the one to break it to you that I saw her commit murder.
There. We all understand how difficult this is for you. Now then, let's continue with the testimony. What did you witness in the temple garden?
Well, Your Honor.
Mr. Calise struck Maya with staff. You're saying the victim attacked Miss Faye?
Yes, it was a truly frightening scene. Mystic Maya was struck hard on the head and looked like she was going to collapse.
What were you doing at the time? Why didn't you stop them from fighting?
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I was I was frightened. I couldn't move. I couldn't even speak. I was in such shock.
That's perfectly understandable, my dear.
This doesn't sound right. I don't believe this testimony for a minute.
What happened after that?
When I pressed the parking brake in to release it, both air tanks emptied out completely before it popped back out. Woof. That is not good. It's fine. The private conversation. Von Karma was there. Gumshoe might have been there. Food was thrown. People might have been fucking in the background. Got sidetracked there for a second. But the point is, it wasn't private conversation as Godot claims. No, I'm pretty sure Von Karma was there as well. So it's actually one of the least private conversations that we've had vis-a-vis bringing up a private conversation we had in court, which we have done many times prior. And no one's ever had any issue with it. Your Honor, I found this in his office. No one was there to verify it. Just take my word for it. And the witness is like, oh no, that's the thing from my office. Ah, shoot, why'd I admit that? The number of times that happens. Stumbling, moved in, deliver, fatal strike.
She moved in, deliver a fatal strike. Yes, I'm sure of it. She threw down her staff and reached into her robe for a weapon.
Wait a minute. What was this weapon?
It was some kind of dagger.
A dagger, huh?
Emily Stunim tried to stab her with this weapon.
To kill Miss Fey.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. We'll just add that to the testimony then. For no reason. Mr. Wright, why are you looking at me like that? No reason, Your Honor. Now, what is actually scummy, and Godot will probably be annoyed, and fairly so, is that, yeah, only Gumshoe and Phoenix know about this, which I'm not sure that's entirely fair, alright? That's, in a trial, both sides are supposed to know all of the evidence you have, unless there's, like, literally an ongoing investigation and a cop bursts in with, like, new forensic evidence, which almost never happens. But, because they would normally delay the trial if the evidence was that important. They're like, this trial needs to be delayed, we're waiting on extremely important evidence, and the judge would be like, granted, I'll give you a day or two, or whatever. But, yeah, this is kind of scummy, the dagger. But also, given the number of times Godot's been a complete bitch, I don't mind it, so. Ha! Oh, look, there's another one. You look like I did after mistakenly taking a swig of, Worcestershire sauce. You know what? You're a big old bitch, Godot, but I don't wish that on anyone. Yeah, that's, yeah. Not something you want to drink by itself. Do you have a problem with the testimony we're hearing from your client, lawyer boy? He acknowledged me as a lawyer. Do I have a problem with Iris's testimony? There is one thing. Your Honor, I have a small problem with the witness's testimony. You do? But this witness is your own client. Yeah. Shut up. Yes, well, nevertheless. Judge, if she's my own client, why am I cross-examining her? If I'm not going to find a problem with it, why are we doing this? You told me to cross-examine her. I have a problem. And now you're like, wait, what? You have a problem? Yes! That's why I'm... Fine. Witness, let's add your last statement to the testimony.
Yes, sir.
Hey! Just a moment. It's my job to say that.
Listen, Gramps. I won't say it again. Final judgment will be rendered by me. Yeah, that's actually 100% illegal and would carry no weight in any court, including this one. So, gonna go with no on that one. Prosecutor. Notice how I said prosecutor and not judge or your honor. That's because you are neither, and therefore not allowed to do that. You pompous, arrogant twit. Well, he's got me there. Let's continue. Threw her staff away and pulled the dagger from inside her robe. She threw her staff away.
Mystic Elise was trying to kill Mystic Maya. I think that's why she wanted a more lethal weapon.
It's true. It's not easy to inflict a deadly blow with a staff.
Why do you know that?
Sister Iris, let me make sure I've got this straight. The victim herself chose to throw away her staff. Yes, that's what I saw.
Is there anything odd about that, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, it's odd, all right. Game, I get it. I just want to press every statement.
Mystic Elise attacked Mystic Maya with the dagger. I'm sure of it.
It's a stream. Yeah, illegal Tuesday stream. Don't tell anyone. Penguin, keep it on the down low. It's illegal and Tuesday. Oh, that reminds me. I'll say this again in Discord. This Thursday, normally, it would be Dead Souls. However, something has come up on work that is making me work late. I will not be able to be streaming that day. I'm very sorry, it happens. I'm also not going to be able to make it up because I'm already doing a makeup day, and I'd like to have Wednesday for myself. I have to run errands, go grocery shopping, that sort of thing. Where I can't make up Thursday. So, we'll do a longer one Friday. That's the best I can offer. Longer stream Friday. But no stream Thursday. I'll re-mention it in the Discord after this stream. Work thing came up. Very sorry about it. Good thing you're streaming today. Well, I was already making this up for Sunday. Try to desperately defend herself and stole the weapon. And then... How long on Friday? Don't know. We'll see.
Mystic Maya, she turned things around and then... She used the weapon she had taken and lunged forward for a strike.
Could be a token plushie, a chair stream, or he'll tell us no stream again. Would a plushie be the duck or me? Like, would it just be my dumb face going? Or would it be the duck?
Witness, are you absolutely certain?
Just my headphones here.
Yes, but believe me, she had no choice. If Mystic Maya hadn't done something...
Maya Fey's name would have been written on this autopsy report instead. Yes, I see. You just said no stream Thursday. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
This is bad. I still can't put the pieces together. Unless I find a contradiction in testimony. Where could it be? I only have this to say.
Alright. It was in self-defense, can't blame him. So you're saying Maya Fey was the one who stabbed Miss Elise Dunim? Sister Iris, is that really what you saw?
Yes.
Tisk, trite. If your mug is filled with black and bitter suspicions, the only way to get rid of them is to drink them down quick. Like this! I know that's supposed to be metaphor, but I don't get it. There's only one thing you need to get, trite. It's called evidence. Now hurry up, before my next cup gets cold.
What does that mean?
Is Godot waiting for me to point out the contradictions? Why can't you do it, you dickhead? Also, what happens if I get this wrong? What happens if I fuck this up? Is the judge gonna go, well, based on everything we've heard, I have no choice but to declare Iris guilty. And then Iris, Godot, and me are like, wait, what? But she's confessing to aiding and abetting. It's like, yes, and you failed to prove her wrong about that, so she is guilty. Oh, the courts in this game. Dagger from inside her robe. Threw her staff away. Iris, you stupid fucking idiot, that didn't happen. Sister Iris, there's something strange about your version of events. Huh? Miss Dunim throwing her own staff away makes no sense to me at all.
But all you can do with the staff is hit somebody.
I don't think you should chug coffee. If it's scalding hot, absolutely not. If it's, lukewarm, you could probably be fine with it. Naturally, you wouldn't know this, Sister Iris, but... the victim's staff had a special feature about it. As you can see, it's a sword. Ah! If Dunim really had wanted to kill Maya, she wouldn't have needed to use a separate dagger. Not when she already had a beautiful blade in her hands at the ready. Well, Sister Iris, what do you have to say? She could just be like, I don't know, that's what happened. What do you want me to say? She did it. She did what I said she did. I don't know why she didn't use the fucking thing. Ask her. Oh, right, she's dead. That was an impressive bit of investigating, Trite. I never would have thought there was a sword hidden in that staff. But even so, how should I put this? A longsword is unwieldy, and thus quite ineffective in close quarters combat. Maybe that's why she chose a dagger over her blade. Well... Anyway, the type of weapon she chose to use isn't what's important. Yes, it fucking is! God damn it, you idiot. The important thing is that she tried to kill Maya Fey. Yeah, okay, but if she was saying she pulled a gun out, and I'm like, but she had this sword, and also she was stabbed, would you be like, the weapon doesn't matter? Look, the point is she definitely tried. Well, who cares what the weapon was? When has that ever mattered in a court case? God, you've never done this before, you say. This is only your third case, you say. I couldn't tell. As long as there's nothing strange about that, there's no problem with her testimony. But there is something strange about this whole testimony. Well, Mr. Wright, the prosecution has a point. Not a good one, but it is a point. Very well, Your Honor. The defense will now present evidence to back its argument.
Mr. Wright?
I have here another piece of evidence that shows this testimony can't be trusted. Because we deleted evidence of the life of Maya. This? I don't know exactly what proves they're mother and daughter, but probably this if I had to guess. Yeah, okay. Well, Mr. Godot? Uh-oh. They're being general about it. Oh, for God's sakes. She's the master of Curain channeling. Which is the mother of Maya and the talisman. You look at the relationship. Boy, if only you could somehow connect Maya Fey, daughter of the master of the Curain channeling technique, to Elise Dunim, the master of the Curain channeling technique and secretly Misty Fey, as evidenced by the talisman that she kept the entire time. If only there were some piece of evidence that exemplified this so eloquently in such a way. What do you want from me, game? Fucking... They got a birth certificate I don't know about? Her profile? Fuck you! Fuck you! Elise Dunim would never have attacked Maya Fey. That's quite a bullshit if I've heard one. Big misconception that big longswords are unruly. They aren't. They're just as effective as any other weapon. Well, I mean, it does depend how much room you have. If there's only that much room between me and another person, I'd have to lean very far back with my arm to stab them. But if I had a small dagger, it'd be much easier to just get a quick stab in.
How can you be so sure?
Now, if I wanted to cut them with the longsword, that would be pretty much equally effective. But to stab somebody through, a longsword does require more positioning and build-up than just a dagger. Purely because of length. Because the victim's real name is not Elise Dunim, but also Arg. God, even you raise a good point. If only we studied the wound and determined what kind of weapon it was, and the angle, and how long the blade would have been. And then, I don't know, maybe the autopsy report could back up whether it was a dagger or a fucking longsword. Godot! But no, the weapon doesn't matter, clearly. Because the victim's real name was not Elise Dunim. Her real name was Misty Fey. Fey?
Ah, no! Not Mystic Misty Fey.
Who is this Misty Fey? Is she related to...
Misty Fey is the master Curain channeling technique. She is also the mother of Maya Fey.
Are you serious?
Is it really true, Mr. Wright? Was Elise Doom actually the great Mystic Misty?
There's no doubt about it. It looks like Iris has no idea. Or had no idea.
I can hardly believe it.
The idea that she would try and kill her only daughter, who one she hadn't seen in 17 years. Perhaps the prosecution offers some explanation why she would do such a thing. Well, if you have like half a feet of room to move, a dagger will do better. Yeah. Pretty sure they established the murder took place in a place with more wiggle room than half a foot. Oh, you mean like, I don't know, outside in a large garden? Ark, don't be silly. That would have been ridiculous to have gone to that garden multiple times and seen it as the scene of the crime. Oh, wait a minute.
Order! Upon first hearing the witness's testimony, it seems natural enough. However, in light of some facts that have just been presented, 1, the victim supposedly threw away a sword during a fight, and 2, that the two people battling to death were mother and daughter, despite the facts being believable when taken on their own.
Wait, so you're saying if one of those were true, it would be believable?
I've heard of mother and daughter dueling it out over pistols, but not after one of them threw away a sword.
When taken together, the entire story seems difficult to believe. The rest of the courtroom eat popcorn while watching this? Oh yeah, 100%. Popcorn's given out, tickets are sold so that they can get in the audience. The sign lights up when they're told to go rabba 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 rabba. Listen, there's nothing in this world that's impossible. Oh, I can think of a few things. A mirror in the middle of a restaurant being unnoticed by multiple people. Me having respect for you. Those are my 2 examples. No, I will never let that go, Godot. You're an idiot. Except for one little thing.
Yes, what is this one little impossible thing?
Ha! You still don't get it. You think maybe my beans are under-roasted, but you have no idea, Gramps. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I heard this witness's confession this morning. Oh, really? A private conversation, you say? You and her, private fucking... I hate you! Just as I had taken the first sip of my 8th cup of morning coffee.
You're going to ruin your health, my friend. I mean, for God's sakes, man. That is way too much coffee.
Anyway, after hearing this woman's confession, that's the first 100% true and relatable thing the judge has said all game. You're going to ruin your health, my friend. No, you know what? It's his second. After he looked at El Tigre and said, "It was you in this courtroom 2 months ago or whatever, absolutely pretending to be Mr. Phoenix Wright. It was 100% you." That was good times. After hearing this woman's confession, I had a detective who loves investigating sent to the scene of the crime. And he discovered this little beauty.
What? Is that the dagger the witness testified to seeing?
Obviously, Your Honor. But do you not notice something else?
Now that you mention it, if you look closely, there appears to be blood on it.
Or, you know, Godot being smarter than oh shit. With some shit he's done, pretty sure Gumshoe could have done a better job. I don't know, man. Gumshoe really didn't do himself any favors yesterday. I don't use the metal detector on things that don't look like metal. Come on, man. Oh yeah, thanks, I lost my badge. Dude, come on. Where did you find that? I didn't see that when I was investigating the crime scene. Did you investigate the pine tree at the crime scene? No, the pine tree. Also, there's no pine tree. The dagger was stuck in the backside of the pine tree. What pine tree? There's no pine tree here! When the last blow was struck, ending the violent battle between the 2 women, this little baby was thrown in the direction of the back of the pine tree. There's no pine tree! It's all bamboo, and that's a bonsai tree. Bonsai is pine? Oh, really? I didn't know that. Why don't they just say bonsai tree? Whatever. Mint vinegar syrup? Gross.
Which means the blood on this dagger belongs to the victim, correct? Ha! Were you even listening, old man? I first heard this confession this morning, just as I had taken my first sip of my 13th cup of morning coffee.
Didn't you just say it was your 8th a few minutes ago?
I didn't have enough time to get the blood analyzed on such short notice. In any case, the court will accept this dagger as evidence. Furthermore, I order a blood test be performed on it immediately. And on Mr. Godot. I want to know just how much of his blood is pure caffeine. This is my sweetheart. Make sure you treat her right. Bailiff, get this piece of evidence to the crime lab for testing immediately.
Dagger out to the court record. The blood is being analyzed now.
Now then. Testimony we've just heard had numerous unbelievable aspects to it. However, after having found the very dagger the witness spoke of, I believe we can consider her testimony to be credible.
Well, we still haven't explained why mother and daughter were trying to kill each other. She never does himself favors. But again, Godot set the bar so low with what qualifies as prosecutor. That's true. That the bar is practically a tripping hazard in hell. Gumshoe can do at least as well as Godot. That's true. If somebody said I put up a giant fucking mirror in the room and nobody saw it, Gumshoe would be like, okay, well, I guess that's what happened. Which, you know what? That's exactly what Godot did, so. Shut the fuck up. What do you mean? What the hell do you mean by that? God, I didn't even read that line, and then I got pissed off. Godot. Cute girls never lie. Ever. You fucking dickhead.
In any case, witness, if you can please testify again to this court.
About what, Your Honor?
About the incident you saw. The battle between the two women.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, everyone lies. Yes! Everyone lies! I wouldn't say especially cute girls, but literally everyone has the capacity and has at some point in their life told a lie.
Mystic Maya stumbled briefly after being hit over the head with the staff. But then she dodged Mystic Elise's next attack and stole her weapon.
Maya sounds dexterous enough to be doing this, yes.
Suddenly, Mystic Elise was the one on the offensive with her back to the stone lantern. That's when Mystic Maya stabbed Mystic Elise. Mystic Elise managed to fling the knife away, but then she collapsed.
Hey, not for nothing, if you cleaned up the crime scene, you did a shit job leaving behind the woman's name written in blood. I don't know if we're gonna get to that or anything, but that just occurred to me.
That was a very heartbreaking story.
I don't know if there are any bad feelings between them, but it had been 17 years since Mystic Misty's disappearance. Perhaps they simply didn't recognize each other anymore.
Nah, I think the woman who knew herself to be Faye and knew Maya Faye was named Maya Faye probably recognized her daughter. Also, then what's the motive? Why would they attack each other? One is self-defense. Why would she attack Maya? Is Maya a skilled fighter? No, she's Maya. What?
That sounds reasonable. Now then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
The battle! Mr. Maya stumbled briefly after being hit in the head with a staff. Iris, where were you standing when you witnessed all this?
What do you mean?
Well, if either of them had noticed you, they might not have continued their battle.
I wonder if that's true. The two of them, they were standing near the garden stone lantern. I was watching the whole thing from behind. It was dark where the two of them were, so I think that's why they didn't see me.
So it was dark in the garden when the murder took place. Tell me, what did Miss Maya Fey do after she was struck?
What happened to the victim's staff then?
I'm not sure. The area was very dark, so I really couldn't see. I think it got knocked away somewhere as the fight escalated.
That makes sense. That would explain the need for the dagger.
Mr. Elise raised the dagger to strike, Mr. Maya dodged it at the last second. Dagger struck the lantern and fell to the ground. At some point, Mr. Maya picked it back up.
Nothing sounds especially strange yet. And what did the victim do when the weapon was stolen from her? You're just saying if everyone knows Maya, how can they believe she could fight like that? Yeah, exactly. Your Honor, have you met Maya Fey? Do you think she's capable of this? Good point. Elise, witness, try again.
You're saying that Maya Fey turned the tables on the victim?
Yes. Objection. No wonder it wouldn't put a bastard accidentally stab herself while cooking. This is trouble magnet. It's true. I'm getting the yawns. I need a beverage. Sorry, carbonated. Chat, you wanna know some bullshit? After I moved, we obviously looked at new restaurants. Found a preferred pizza place. Did great pizza. Loved it. It was called, like, New York Margarita Pizza. On DoorDash and but not on their online menu, just on DoorDash. They had an option for, like, a custom pizza where it was just cheese and then you could add whatever you wanted to it. I'm a little particular when it comes to pizza. I like what I like. I don't like what I don't like. So that was great for me. Just put what I want on it. Boom, shipped out. They got rid of that option. You now have to get like a specialty pizza that's not only more expensive, but also is covered in a bunch of shit you don't want. Because like the minimum pizza they have has like 3 or 4 things on it. And like, I just want pizza. And they're like, you can't have that. You can have the New York meat style pizza with ham, bacon, sausage, pepperoni, and chicken. And I'm like, I don't want all of that, nor do I want to pay for all of that. So I'm back to eating Domino's. I bring this up because I had pizza today, and I miss my old pizza. Why did they change it? Some bullshit. I liked their pizza. Now they're like, I can't have it unless you have weird specialty pizza that you can't customize. It's like, fuck off. So let me make a pizza. They mostly order food. Why do you think they order food? Because Maya always says, let's go out for burgers. So Maya doesn't stab herself all the time. No, Maya's always saying they're going out for burgers.
Mr. Maya wasn't herself at the time. After all, her life was in danger.
I still can't believe it. The idea of Maya cornering someone at knife point, it's just silly. As they say, a cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal. Watch, he's trying to get Maya convicted of, admittedly, murder in self-defense, which is, I think, one of, like, the few excuses for murder, self-defense. That being said, another being, like, sports-related accident, if, like, a boxer accidentally kills somebody. It's like, well, they signed waivers, so no charges can be pressed. Yeah, he's arguing she killed someone in self-defense, and then he's gonna yell at me for not protecting her. Bitch, you're the one who attacked her with this self-defense malarkey. She wasn't involved in any way until you stepped in, other than just kind of missing. Now, all of a sudden, she's being accused of murder. You fuck. Also, that's not a saying. I believe the correct description of a cornered fox is scared and petrified. Your animal analogies have grown tiresome. Okay, that was funny. It's like, an animal analogy. You got that wrong. It's actually this. Shut up. You were the one who started it. Anyway. So after Maya Fey backed the victim into the stone lantern, what happened next? Whoops. Are you absolutely certain that's what you saw?
Yes, I'm almost certain.
Almost certain means you weren't certain. Wait, no, that's the wrong game.
The garden was dark. I couldn't really tell who was who.
What did she just say? So in other words, it could have been someone else entirely. Objection. We know that Maya Fey was at the inner temple that night. And the woman who killed her the woman that was killed was Elise Dunim. Isn't that fairly obvious who attacked who? I don't have anything to counter that yet.
Well then, witness, please continue with your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Two of them faced each other for a moment. Oh.
Mystic Maya rushed straight into Mystic Elise. Then Mystic Elise doubled over and fell to the ground.
So she was stabbed in the stomach, huh?
Yes.
God, ain't exactly known for making sense of being smarter than a week-old diarrhea from Skunk's rotten asshole. You gotta get your mind off shit, dude. There's other things you can compare him to. Doesn't always have to be poo. Keep it highbrow. Compare him to, like, a dead tree. Or, like, a clam. Where did that dagger go?
I have no idea. It was dark and I couldn't see.
According to the detective who found the dagger, it was stuck in the pine tree in the garden. Why did they say pine? It's so obviously not... It's a bonsai! That might be a type of pine tree, but it's so obviously a bonsai tree. Most likely it was flung towards the tree after the struggle.
That's the most likely explanation, yes.
After being stabbed in the stomach, did the victim collapse right away? Now that I think of it, she seemed to stare at Mystic Maya for a while. Mystic Maya stood there, not moving an inch.
Were they just in shock, you think?
Felt for a moment like time had just stopped. But then, suddenly, as if the spell had worn off, Mystic Elise fell over.
Seems like a reasonable story at first, but there's one thing that's completely impossible.
The very idea of Maya stabbing someone other than herself accidentally. That alone is impossible! Which means...
You like shit-based analogies. Yeah, we can tell. The reason to make it have a lot of variety. I don't think they do. You keep comparing things to poo. The shock value wears off. It just comes kind of gross. The faulty testimony must contain another contradiction in it somewhere. If I compared you to the subtlety of a clown, but then next week said the subtlety of a walrus, then, you know, you start getting the idea. But if I kept saying clown over and over again, it would wear off. The impact of calling you a clown is lost. But, you know, that's just kind of how it works. Anyway, ahem. I'm rambling. She's a liar? Well, duh. Stone lanterns. When she stabbed Mystic Maya, then collapsed. Alright, unfortunately, none of these say stomach in here, which means I'm probably going to pick the wrong one. Because it could be here, says with her back to the stone lantern. Could also be here, when clearly we're seeing Maya about to stab her in the stomach. So, let's try this one first. Thank you. Also got a text from my wife. Hold on a second. Yes, Domino's, thank you. I enjoyed my pizza. I'm not going to tell you that because it's weird that you keep asking me. Yeah, sorry, just 1 second. How can you trust her? Could you think she's a liar? Well, yeah. But, you know, everyone's a liar in this game. As soon as you take the stand, you're called into question. Just know how to plow through the charade of lies. Something you said just isn't right today, Iris. Isn't right today? What? But it would... What? It would be yesterday? Huh? Huh? Until now, I didn't think you were the type to make such a careless mistake. However, the testimony you just gave contains quite a few contradictions. What do you mean? What's so wrong about my testimony? According to you, Maya Fey stabbed the victim while she had her back to the stone lantern. Correct. Has been hotel song. Has been hotel song, didn't you know? I mean, I watched Has Been Hotel once. I guess most people only watched it once, right? I liked some of the songs. That one doesn't ring a bell. Is that the one about Vaggie or whatever?
Yes, that's right.
But in that case, the victim would have been stabbed in the stomach, right?
Yes, I think so.
But, according to the autopsy report, the cause of death was due to blood loss from a stab wound in her back. Ah. You suggest God Hand? You certainly can. This proves the victim was stabbed from behind, not from the front. Sister Iris. It appears in our seat house, apparent from your testimony. Ah. And Charlie go to heaven in an extermination of hell. That is what they do in that show, yes. I don't know, I thought Has Been Hotel was alright. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Didn't do anything for me.
What? What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
It's happened being cashed by Discount Cyclops and Room Temperature IQ. Hey, there you go. It's on Amazon Prime. Yes, I know. Ha! It's simple. People are like books. We've all got a front and a back. You get my drift? No, I don't see where you're going with this.
Is that all you have to say?
I can also say that darkness loves to play with the human mind. Could you please knock it off with the cheesy proverbs and logical metaphors already? The point is, too much of this testimony just doesn't make sense. Yeah, also, even if, like, your argument is, it was dark, she mixed up what the back and the front of a person was. Stab, she then clearly said there was a moment where she was just looking at her. She would have seen her turn around to look at her, or she's full of crap, one or the other. Throwing away useful staff, the people fighting being mother and daughter. And now she falsely claims the victim was stabbed in the stomach.
There certainly are some inconsistencies.
So is Fallout? Yeah, I've heard good things about that. Haven't seen it. I don't think Godot knows where he's going with this either. No. So, Iris, how about it?
Well, it's just...
If you ask me, you're just being too naive about the whole thing. What do you mean? There are 253 distinct types of bitterness in coffee. Okay, and? But to pick out each one requires total concentration and the use of all senses. Were you really concentrating on what this witness actually said? Yes!
Prosecutor Godot, explain yourself!
The witness is quite unambiguous about her own ambiguities when she said, the garden was dark and she couldn't see clearly. A human needs one thing to see clearly, and that is light.
Light?
Enough about the coffee! By the way, did you know Hazakura has a rule on nights when an acolyte is at the inner temple training. The stone lanterns in the garden must be kept lit. I did wonder what that stone lantern was there for.
Well, if that's true, should the witness have been able to see the crime more clearly?
We understand you're addicted to caffeine. Normally, yes, Your Honor, but according to the head nun, Sister Bikini, on the night of the crime, it was impossible to light that stone lantern. Impossible? It hadn't been used in a long time, and the wick was no good. In other words, it had to have been nearly pitch black in the garden that night. There could have been a faint light coming from the training hall, but that's all.
Most enlightening.
Yes, that illuminating fact has chased all the contradiction away. No, it hasn't. But let's pretend it did. Doesn't explain the weapon or the mother and daughter thing at all. Or the whole staring at her. If the staff was dropped, it would have been difficult to see. It also explains why they didn't recognize each other. Then why was she attacking her? They met earlier in the day when it was light. There are people all over the building that can testify to that. Why would she just randomly be attacking a strange woman in the dark that she couldn't identify? Yeah, okay, Maya turned around in self-defense and accidentally killed her, or killed her in self-defense, however you want to say it. Why was Elise attacking people in the dark? Where's your explanation for that, you stupid, stupid man? We can't... I'm so ready to be done with Godot. I fucking hate you. We can't see the demons that lurk in the night. That's why humans are weak. Isn't that right, Trite? No! No! He's gay. Stupid coffee-addicted old man. How old is Godot? Does it say? Oh, there he is. Unknown. Cool, thanks. You're laughing, joking, numbness. That's why there have been like a billion different contradictions by now. Caffeine was the only thing Godot was addicted to, it would be fine. At this point, I'm pretty sure he's addicted to having toilet brewed crack. Ah! Fresh from jail or hell or wherever he claims he's from. Your Honor, can I have Francesca back, please? I'll take the whipping. She at least made sense when she made arguments and got, like, the right amount of annoyed when witnesses revealed nonsensical things. Here, Your Honor, let me present the stone lantern into evidence. Maybe it will rekindle the flame of truth in your mind. Was not lit the night of the crime. Why is Judge just sitting there with the look on his face? What's wrong, Your Honor? Was that flame too hot?
This lantern. There's something written on it.
Why?
It's written in blood!
Oh boy! So the judge didn't know about that yet.
Written in blood. I'll take pain over this laughing numbnut. Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here, Ark. It is pain, after all. Oh, yeah. Sorry, more wife text. Ahem. It says Maya upside down. What the? This week I'll text my ex-wife over this coffee dork. Ha ha! Get him, Tim.
Oh yes, that's right. After being cornered, I almost said concerned, and then stabbed by Mystic Maya, Mystic Elise didn't fall down right away. She must have been writing on the stone lantern behind her.
Yeah, must have.
With the blood that was draining out of her body.
It certainly looks that way. Hang on just a minute. What are you all talking about? What do you mean, what are we all talking about?
Talking about the message written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle.
Could it be?
He can't see the bloody writing at all.
Now that I think of it, he did say something to me yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. So you know that, but you're still confused by this.
So that's what he meant by that.
In any case, this is obviously an important clue. We now know the crime scene was dark, and that the victim scrawled this message on the stone lantern. Well, Mr. Godot, anything further? Mr. Godot?
Okay then, let's move on. Godot is literally shaking, and somehow, I don't think it's from the caffeine overdose. Although I don't think that's helping.
I believe it has now been established that Miss Junim was killed by Maya Fey.
That's just wrong! Now it's time to turn our attention to you. Yes, sir. After the victim died, you did something, didn't you? Why is it upside down? The idea is that she was backed up to the lantern like this, took her hand, and wrote, even though it would have been... It's so weird writing like that. Like, she was backed up to the lantern and wrote it so that she could read it, but just the fucking muscle memory to do that. I'm not sure I would do that. It's such a bad way to write something backed up to the lantern like that. I would have, like, if I wrote something, I'd have taken my blood and turned my hand so I could write it the right way up. It's so weird trying to write upside down like that. Lantern was clean as a whistler. You mix up the lantern with your brain, Godot. No, in the one I'll give him, Arg, is that he can't see red on the color white. They did that earlier with the restaurant when he couldn't see the ketchup stain on the apron. He cannot see red anything on a white background. So that one, yeah, okay, that's out of his control. The goggles, what are you gonna do? It couldn't work that way. No, it would be really weird. It'd be so weird writing it like that. Let's hear it. We're all ears. Sister Iris's cover-up.
After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. I thought it was my duty to protect the future master of the Curain tradition, so I removed the body from the inner temple by myself. I dragged it behind me all the way across Dusky Bridge. Then I used a snowmobile to carry it back to Hazakura Temple, and... I used the Shishikado to alter the way the wound looked. Yes, somehow I lifted a statue and then lowered it back down onto it. Don't ask me how that worked.
So you moved the body?
Yes. I was raised at Hazakura Temple. I owe a great deal of thanks to the Fae clan. But even so, I never imagined that Elise Dunim was actually Misty Fae. I've committed a terrible sin.
A terrible trick of fate.
I believe you're looking at Twist of Fate, Your Honor. Ha-ha! Wrestling.
I intended to return to the Inner Temple after taking care of the body. But...
You were spotted by the head nun, correct?
Yes, and that's why I couldn't go back.
Your story makes sense, I suppose. Mr. Wright, go ahead with your cross-examination.
Real hard to write like that. A, it's real hard to write like that. And B, why would you take time to write the murderer's name when seconds away from death and murder feet from you? Could have taken a short time. Why would the killer let them write it? Yeah. I mean, one, you would probably be in too much shock to have the clarity of mind to even think use your blood to write the name, let alone do it upside down with your back on the wall like that. And two, why would the killer just stand by and be like, what you doing? Like, even dark, that close, you'd be able to see them doing something to the statue. Yes, Your Honor. After Mystic Elise died, I called out to Mystic Maya. So you waited until everything was over before making a move?
No, it's not like that.
She saw someone murdered right in front of her eyes. It's not surprising she was a little timid.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Sometimes when I'm watching lawyers argue back and forth with each other, I feel so helpless I just sit here quietly and wait for them to reach a conclusion.
Isn't it your job to judge and mediate the argument?
It wasn't until Mystic Maya saw me that it finally dawned on me what she had done. Or dawned on her what she had done.
So then, you knew. You knew the significance of the name Maya Fey.
Yes, of course I did.
That's odd. I mean, Sister Bikini didn't recognize Maya's name, let alone her position.
Anyway, she was a very special person indeed.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't want Mystic Maya to be suspected in any way. I thought the best thing would be to remove the body from the crime scene.
You moved a body all by yourself?
Yes, I did. It would have been impossible if it wasn't for the snow.
The snow, huh? Dragged it all the way with me across Dusky Bridge. Isn't it harder to drag things in the snow? Unless you're suggesting you put it on top of the snow and slid it across. It's pretty amazing you can make it all the way across that rickety old bridge.
It looks worse than it is. It's surprisingly sturdy despite its age.
Well, you say that, it's not there anymore. It's like they say, idiots are too stupid to catch even a simple cold. But there's one other thing that bothers me.
Why not just throw the body into Eagle River?
It would have been much easier than dragging it all the way to the temple. Bodies go in there apparently all the time.
I thought it would still cast too much suspicion on Mystic Maya. That's why I tried to take the body as far away as possible.
Ha! Makes perfect sense to me. For the time being. Anyway, what did you do after you crossed the bridge? Ahem. Writing a name like that would take a while at least, and if there could have had enough time to write that, she surely would have had enough time to defend herself or run away. Well, the idea is that she used her own blood arc because it was after she had been stabbed. So, she's dying at that point. Might not have the strength to fight back or run away. The snowmobile! I knew that would show up sooner or later.
Yes, I had the key. I used the snowmobile to travel from Hazakura Temple to Dusky Bridge.
This is the part that was in question the other day. Should I ask for more details? About the snowmobile. Let me hear about this snowmobile ride.
Well, it was very cold that night, so I rode it all the way to the foot of the bridge.
I'm sorry, witness, but now I've got a problem with your testimony.
Excuse me?
Godot, what are you up to now? That night, after the nun had left the remainder of the training to you, she said she walked from the inner temple back to Hazakura Temple. Yes, I'm fairly certain that's what the record indicates. Let's recall her comments on the subject. Wow, this is such an obvious contradiction, even Godot's like, listen, I gotta bring this one up. How it made sense to you. Oh, this one he's like, actually, this one doesn't make sense. And he's right. This doesn't make sense. Why not yell when you get stabbed? According to Christopher Lee, you're in shock and it's just the air leaving your body. It's like it's not quite silent, but it's more of a gasping, a wincing.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there by the main gate, the snowmobile, I mean.
The snowmobile was in front of the main gate. This is one of those contradictions, wouldn't you say? Cool! Didn't have to do anything for that one. Order! Mr. Godot! Why are you pointing out contradictions in the witness's testimony? Let's just say I like things to be neat and tidy, okay?
Well, maybe. Sister Bikini missed it. Yes, maybe she didn't see it.
You think she missed it? That doesn't sound right. Ha! Whatever. Even I don't think this is decisive enough to warrant any more time or effort. Really? It sounds like it is. It's just... You'd better be careful in your testimony. That's all I wanted to say. A smart little cookie like you shouldn't have any trouble understanding that.
Yes, sir.
What was that all about? Why would Godot want to give me a hint? Very well then, let's continue with the testimony. So you transported the body by snowmobile, all the way to Hazakura Temple Courtyard.
Yes. I thought that way Mystic Maya would never be suspected. That's what I thought, anyway. And then I...
A test? Use a snowmobile to carry it back up to Hazakura Temple. Okay. Don't know what the blue dot is there, but sure. Phone, maybe? I don't know. Okay, snowmobile, sure, tracks. Go to file. Her hood. I mean... In order for this to make sense, right? Like, someone rocked up on the snowmobile after it stopped snowing, but they left before it was done snowing, which is why the tracks aren't there. And in order for Bikini to have missed it, she would have had to have not seen it on the bridge, and then also mistakenly seen it at the temple. Maybe I should press again and ask about the tracks, is all. Blue dot's where the orb was found? Oh, good to know. Tell me about the tracks. Really did move her body by a snowmobile. There should be tracks left in the snow, right?
Well, yes, naturally you expect tracks.
This picture was presented at yesterday's trial. Are these tracks from that ride? Yes, I think they are. But I can only see one set of tracks here. I don't see what's so strange about that. Snow was still falling when I left Hasakura Temple.
I see. Snow is still falling.
Then when the murder took place, it had already stopped. That's why there's such fresh-looking tracks.
How about it, Mr. Wright? What do you think of the testimony?
It's very important. When the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. That doesn't make sense if you stack it up against the other evidence. Your Honor, I'd like the statement Iris just made to be added to the testimony.
But does it have something to do with the case?
All will be made clear if you allow her statement to be added to the record.
Ha! This should be fun.
Alright, so this seems like the more, relevant one if they're adding it to the testimony.
Let's get this snow business.
My cat's off to have opinions.
Snow business cleared up, shall we?
Yes, sir. Time the murder took place, snow had already stopped. There have been a lot of contradictions in your testimony so far. This time, are you sure it's all true? Yes, I am. When the murder happened, the snow had already stopped. According to you, that's why the snowmobile tracks were so clear. That's right. I'm certain of it. I think I've trapped her this time. I see how you think. Snow, huh?
What's going on here?
If the snow really had stopped at the time of the murder, it'd mean there's a bigger hole in her story than the movie The Grid Revelations.
Is that a Matrix joke?
Fucking someone was in my chat telling me they couldn't do a fucking Star Wars reference, but they can get away with that.
Really?
Yes, maybe. Going to take Lee's word on that one. The dude served in World War II and afterwards hunted Nazis for a living. Pretty sure he knows what he's on about.
Oh, yeah.
The getting stabbed.
The grid. Well then, Mr. Trite, perhaps you'd like to share your theory with us. Let's see what's up your sleeve, or rather, at the end of your index finger.
Star Wars is owned by Disney? Not in 2005 or 6 when this game originally came out. I don't want to believe it, but I don't think my logic is failing me. Iris is trying to pin the murder on Maya. But why would she want to do that? There's only one reason I can think of. Okay, so the problem is, and I don't know exactly how it's going to get brought up, but you'll notice the tracks run over my footprints. These are the footprints I, Phoenix Wright, made when I ran out of the temple to go to the inner sanctuary to try and rescue Maya. The tracks are running over my footprints, which means she arrived after I had run off. Godot looks like Cyclone from X-Men. You mean Cyclops? Matrix Revelations came out a couple years before this game. Yeah, that sounds right. That was the third one, right? Reloaded was the second one. Snowmobile carry it. I used. Look that way. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. Okay, so what's the weather report say? None of these are the weather report. This must be the weather data, yeah. Snow until 10:50. And the autopsy report has her dead between 10 to 11. Yeah, no, I feel like it's got to be the photo. I'll save here just in case. But, like, the tracks run over my footprints. That's got to be it. Now the question is, how do I point that out to them in the way the game says, ah, you figured it out? Do I swap her statement around again? Because I think I can press here and get a different last statement. Is it this one? Yeah, snowmobile. I thought Enter the Matrix was the second one. It's Reloaded and then Revelations. Enter the Matrix is a video game, I think. In testimony, the head nun have the snowmobile covered in snow. When she got back to the temple, yes. Such a movie made the Mandela Effect. Yeah, Enter the Matrix is a video game in the Matrix series. But yes, the movies are Reloaded, Revelations, The Animatrix, which is a series of animated shorts about the Matrix, not about Neo necessarily. And the fourth one, which... Yeah, that was like Unity or something. It was okay from what I hear. It's all about the snowmobile. Even Godot's gonna object to that. Point out the problem. Yeah, there it is, covered in snow. The Matrix game is very weird, by the way. Right before the final boss, there's a cutscene wherein the Wachowski siblings show up and say, hey, you're probably enjoying the game. That's great. We get it. We want to let you know what's about to happen. Not in the movie. The movie ends very differently, but we thought the ending of the movie not very good for a video game. So we just made this instead. Hope you enjoy. And then you fight a 50-foot tall Agent Smith made of buildings. And, like, yeah, okay. That was entertaining, I guess. And didn't happen in the movie. It's very weird. Look the other way. Snow had already stopped. You said that. By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. What do I... Do I present it here at the snowmobile? The tracks photo? She's running over my footprints, which means she got there after I ran away, which could only have happened once I saw the corpse. I don't know how you want me to say that in the way that you accept it, game. Unless I have to present the crime photo for some insane reason. Can I suggest it? Sure, why not? Fourth one started really well, then trailed off nonsense bullshit halfway through. The Animatrix anthology of short stories compiled into a single movie. Ah, well there you go. Guide? Yeah, I'm gonna use the guide for this, because I don't know what they want from me. Cover up. Is this moving the body? I forget what testimony this is. Oh, wait. Shit, hold on. Apparently I do need to have her add something? It's this. This one. What? I present the weather data here? Why? Why do I present the weather data here? Oh, because... Was it already struck by lightning? 10:45. Ah. So it was snowing until 10:50. Lightning struck at 10:45, which means the murder must have happened before 10:45, Which then means it still would have been snowing when the murder happened. But isn't she saying it was snowing when the murder happened? What? Wait. I don't get it. But apparently this is magically it. It has nothing to do with the fact that her tracks run over my footprints. Did Trevor add something already? Yeah, and that was not at all relevant. I don't know. You claim the snow already stopped when the murder occurred. I'm sorry, Iris. That just isn't possible. No, she's saying murder happened after the snow stopped. Oh, right. Okay, right. Yeah, I got confused there. Yeah, no, she would have had to have done it before lightning struck. What? This is the weather data from the night of the murder. According to this, the snow didn't stop until 10:50. But you couldn't have crossed Dusky Bridge at that time. But why do you say that? Because 5 minutes before the snow stopped, Dusky Bridge was struck by lightning and had caught on fire. What did you say? The bridge, it was on fire?
You don't mean to say you didn't know about it? It was because of that lightning strike that the bridge burned down.
What? But it can't be.
You knew this, what?
It looks like you still haven't figured it out. No matter how hard you try to see if you can conceal the truth, you can't pull the wool over the eyes of a real defense attorney.
Yeah, I suspect that this is, based on her insistence of blaming Maya and the lack of understanding of certain things, I'm thinking this is Dahlia.
No.
Are the Dead Souls VODs ever coming to YouTube? Let me check those. Capcom hasn't copyrighted them yet. They say private, which means I can still publish them because there's no copyright problems. I'll try and publish them. There's no guarantee they'll stay around, but I'll try and publish them. Capcom, sorry, Sega. We're playing a Capcom game. Sega is the one who copyrights the cutscenes. Yeah, I'll try and publish them, but there's no guarantee they'll stick around. It is what it is. The bridge was already on fire when the incident took place. That's right, the inner temple was already totally cut off from the outside world. There's no way you could have crossed the bridge, body or no body.
Witness, even my patience has its limits. Any further lying and I will find you in contempt of court. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Yeah, sorry, not Capcom. We're playing Capcom, yeah. Sega, or whoever publishes Yakuza games, had a brain fart there. Yeah, exactly. Same arc. But yeah, Capcom publishes this game. Sega publishes Yakuza, and they like to copyright the cutscenes of that game. But anyway, the only person here that's truly contemptible is you. Is he talking to me? Because he's probably talking to me. Oh shit, old man. He's talking to him. Who knew? Secret of Monkey Island? Love that game.
Me? How dare you?
Whether this witness lied or not doesn't mean squat right now. Squat? The important thing now is to find out the truth. Isn't that right? Yeah, we'd get there if she stopped lying.
Yes, of course, but
whether it was snowing or not snowing, whether the bridge was burning or not, there are two facts that can't be disputed. First, the body of Elise Dunim was discovered in Hazakura Temple courtyard. And second, the head nun, Sister Bikini, witnessed Iris desecrating Miss Deuce Nim's body. He makes a good point, on both accounts. No, I'm pretty sure all the other stuff is equally important because we're trying to find out who the flippin' murderer is.
That's right, I'm not lying.
What are you claiming this time?
I wasn't myself at all that night, so my memory is still somewhat hazy.
You have stood at the witness stand and testified this entire time. And you're telling us now that your memory of the night is hazy? Dead Island 2 DLC comes out tomorrow. Good for it. It's only human to err. If you're so perfect, trite. Maybe you can explain this for the court. What is it? When the murder happened, the bridge had already been burnt. But somehow, the body traveled across the bridge and was found in the temple courtyard. Obviously, it flew, courtesy of Larry Butts' painting. Perhaps you have some kind of perfect explanation for this little magic trick. Well, not exactly, no. I know there must be some other way she got across the burnt-out bridge. But unless I can somehow demonstrate it, we'll never know the truth. So on 5 Strikers, I'd rather not. Those games do nothing for me. The Dynasty Warriors, the Persona 5 Strikers, the Fire Emblem Warriors, the Hyrule Warriors. None of them do anything for me.
It looks like the defense is not prepared to offer a suitable explanation.
You see what I mean. In other words, you're in no position to suggest this lady's testimony isn't the truth. Ah! Arena, a fighting game? It's a fucking... Why? I'm gonna play the story of a fighting game? That doesn't make any sense. Why did the murder occur compared to the bridge? When did the murder occur compared to the bridge burning down? The bridge was burned. We know for a fact it started on fire at 10:45. The murder took place between 10 and 11.
All right then, witness, let's hear one more testimony. Let's hear your testimony once more.
About what, Your Honor?
You've admitted you moved the victim's body. Nevertheless, your prior testimony contained a rather large inconsistency. Please add an explanation of that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor. Will this be her final testimony?
Rope. Silk hat, white gloves, rope. Oh, wait.
Other than walking over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. So I must have just gotten confused, I guess. Was snow still falling or had it stopped? Does it really matter that much?
Yes! Because in one of those scenarios, the bridge is on fire.
Are you saying that there was a way to cross a burning bridge? Or are you saying there's a way to cross a burning bridge?
So if the murder occurred at 10:05, the body could have been moved. Yes.
So that was just a misunderstanding, I see.
This is a photo of Dusky Bridge after it burned down from the lightning blast. It was taken on the morning after the incident. Artistic.
It certainly was burnt to a crisp, and one of the suspension wires even snapped. It's amazing the whole bridge didn't fall.
Could you transport over the edge? Or she yeeted the body. Yeah, she just fucking flung it. She's actually sick jacked. Hurled it across the bridge and then jumped after it.
Certainly would be impossible to carry a corpse across a bridge in this condition.
Unless I do something to discredit this testimony, it's going to be deemed as the truth. And Maya will be accused of murder. Trite. I'm only going to say this one more time. It's only human to err, and only humans can spot the errors of our ways. The more sense he makes, the less sense he makes. Wait a minute. Looks like only half the bridge is missing. Well, I admit they could have, photographed it maybe at a better angle, but, yeah, it does look like the left half is burnt out and gone, while the right half is still kind of there. More importantly, note, if you will, where the suspension wires are, with the one exception of the one that's snapped and dangling. They are bolted into the side of the cliff and go under the bridge. And if we look at a certain painting... Why, look where those suspension wires are. I think if you turn it 180 degrees, you'll see what was actually happening. And it was the body being swung through the air, upside down, by probably the snapped suspension cable. Larry's picture showed the bridge compared to the photos. This is not a photo, but okay.
Mr. Wright, begin your final cross-examination.
And walk over the bridge, there's no way to move the body. Yes, but if the snow had already stopped when the incident took place,
I couldn't have crossed the bridge, naturally. But I think it's just like Mr. Godot said. The body did make it across somehow.
Somehow, the body made it across. Brilliant, Godot. No one can argue with your prowess. Godot would later go on to write the Star Wars movies. But you seem to be quite sure of yourself when you gave your testimony. You said you were sure the snow had already stopped.
I'm terribly sorry. I was wrong.
Does she really think an apology is going to get her off the hook? Good quote. This is no joke or giving sworn testimony in a court of law.
Well, Mr. Wright, let me ask you a question. Do you remember what the weather was like 1 week ago today?
Huh? Well, naturally it was,
You see, it's not that easy to remember, is it?
Well, there's a difference between 2 days ago and 1 week, and also 1 week ago, it wasn't the scene of a murder. But if it had been some kind of special day, I would have remembered. For example, if it was pouring rain on the day of my elementary school graduation.
Objection!
What? No one wants to hear about your childhood traumas, Trite. Yeah, I already have that achievement, thank you.
What?
By the time the murder took place, the snow had already stopped. If you insist on obsessing over that one statement, let's see the proof. Show us some evidence that the body crossed the bridge while it was on fire. Well, I don't see why there couldn't be a way to cross the bridge.
Mr. Wright, don't you think that sounds a bit silly? A dead body crossing a burning bridge. Did anyone actually witness such a thing? Anyone at all? Any stupid, smelly, ignorant loser gentlemen whose names are dumb and have never achieved anything in life? I don't think so. Don't be ridiculous.
Ha! If there was, I don't think you'd call someone like that as a witness. Well, to be fair, I didn't. After all, a dream isn't the same as actually seeing something. Come all this way. All right. Time to bring up the painting. I don't think I would call him a gentleman. No, probably not. A dead body flying over a burning bridge. I wouldn't exactly rule the possibility out. What? Ha! You're saying it's possible. Don't make me laugh. The only thing that's possible about your claim is that it's pulled out of thin air. I don't know about that. In any case, we have a witness who did see it happen. Preposterous! Got him. Who is it? Who is this witness? I can't chicken out here. I gotta keep on the attack and go, go, go. Miss Elise Dusnim's brilliant and highly gifted apprentice, Maurice Dunim. Brilliant, highly gifted.
Apprentice?
Remember what he said in his testimony. That night he was at a mountain shack, Heavenly Hall. And also he's looking at it upside down, so it would have looked like going above the bridge. He's Larry. That's when he witnessed the event. I think you've all seen this sketch before. It's an exact drawing of what he witnessed that night. Are you serious? Today's not April Fool's Day, is it? No, that was actually somewhat recently, but not today, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, are you seriously claiming the victim flew through the air? Your Honor, I seem to recall the prosecution claiming that a year ago regarding a certain magician in a certain circus. So yeah, why the fuck not? And you're using this pathetic scribble to support your argument? You used the testimony of a clown and a puppet. I don't want to hear it, old man. Uh-oh, the judge looks like he's about to blow a gasket. He's super serious. Ha! Well, Trite, there's nowhere for you to hide now. Other than looking like it was drawn by a 6-year-old, does this sketch prove anything? Yes, I'm pretty sure it does, and I'm gonna prove it. Listen, I know your tricks. You're trying to turn this whole thing upside down. If you're so eager to turn this case upside down, why not start with the sketch? Nudge, nudge. Upside down? Why did Godot say that? Godot, if you're on my side, stop trying to get Maya convicted. And also apologize for, like, everything that you've done prior to this point. And then maybe I'll consider accepting you're on my side. Otherwise, fuck off. Alright then, let's hear the defense's theory. What exactly is this sketch trying to show? I don't think old Whiskerface is going to forgive any more mistakes. Yeah, I pointed out in earlier ways painting makes more sense if you take into account he was lying on his back and witnessed it upside down. Oh, did you? I missed that. Alright, Phoenix, look carefully and think it over. The sketch drawn by Lord Studium is, evidence of nothing, a complete contradiction. Exactly what happened. Okay, wait, so... Do they want me to... It's not evidence of nothing. He said upside down. No, autocorrect. So... Do they want me to... Listen, and this is a reasonable concern in Phoenix Wright. Do I go, a complete contradiction? Because there's no way this could have happened like this, and then he turns it upside down. Or do they want me to go, exactly what happened? We're just looking at it the wrong way. And then he turns it upside down. Because both of those are 100% possible, and I would say equally likely to be correct. I don't know which one they want me to pick. Part of me wants to say exactly what happened so he can be like, it is what happened, provided we look at it this way. But I also am willing to believe he's like, it's a complete contradiction. You can't fly through the air, but you could swing. You cannot fly over the bridge, but you could swing under it. So, place your bets, I guess. I think it's this one in Phoenix Wright fashion. Of course, okay, well, you can see right here in the sketch. Whoosh! You know, it's starting to remind me of yesterday's witness. You weren't here. What do you mean? Wah! That was the last thing I wanted to hear. You have any evidence the victim threw through the air? Alright, well then. Ahem. He can't fly over the bridge. That's called falling. Well, yes. It's one of those moments, though, you know? It's like, what's the right answer? They both could have been correct. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. Dickhead parked an open convertible in my spot, and the devil's on your shoulder screaming for vandalism. Oh, no. What a dickhead. I would suggest slashing his tires, but then he's still in your spot and he can't leave. I would suggest leaving an angry note, then? Alternatively, and more importantly, where did you park? I would hope in one of the visitor spots, then, so that we're not, towed. Or you're not towed. I guess check periodically until he leaves. Visitor spot around the corner. Yeah, if he's not gone by, tonight, fucking call the tow company. Get him out of here. Something is obviously funny about this sketch. I'm no art critic, but even I can see that. No, that's not what I meant, Your Honor. Laurice Deuce Nim stated it over and over. I like how he's the only one to acknowledge Larry's changed his name. You see what I mean? That this sketch is exactly as he saw it. Yeah, see, it's exactly what happened. Do you see what I mean? This is why it could have been exactly what happened. Puncture a tuna can and place it under his seat. If it is an open convertible. However, if we're to believe his testimony, The sketch contradicts reality as we know it.
It contradicts reality.
Ha! This is getting interesting. Looks like you're back to that finger-pointing thing again. Okay, Trite. So what exactly contradicts reality as we know it? It's the support beam, or the support cables, right? It's this wire connected to the bridge! Yeah, that should be under the bridge. I don't have any tuna. The wire? Ha! Is that the thing that contradicts reality? It is indeed. Then show us the reality it supposedly conflicts with. Show us something that will point out how the sketch contradicts reality. Really? You brought the photo, my guy. That's a photo of Dusky Bridge, correct? Any open food under the seat would do the trick. That's true. Yes, now compare the sketch and the photo for a minute. In the sketch, the wires appear to be above the guard wires. Have Raccoon destroy the guard. But on the actual Dusky Bridge, Jumping Jehoshaphat! The wires are below the guard wires! Pwah! We do not have raccoons. We could get some, though. All you need to do is leave some open food under his car seat. Order! Order! This sketch is somewhat different from what's depicted in the photo. However, isn't it likely the artist just saw it wrong?
Or perhaps he just drew it wrong.
Either way, it sounds like you're just wrong. With someone like Laurice, I admit a mistake is definitely possible. But then that begs the question. Why did he make a mistake? What was the reason? Because he's an idiot. That may be so, but think back, okay? Remember what Laurice said when he witnessed the event? He was at Heavenly Hall waiting for a lover that was never going to come. Interpret that how you will. He waited and waited, and finally he laid down. Glad the chat agrees with the devil on my shoulder. Well, yeah. We are the devil, actually. Get some scoops from Penn's litter box. I was thinking get a trash bag full of, from our dumpster. Chuck it in. Sugar water all over seats. Yeah, there you go. Our chat's the devil on her shoulder. But then, lightning shoots from the sky and set the bridge aflame. In reality, you're probably best off leaving a note on the windshield that's, a bit snarky. This spot is for the people that live here. Now ponder what sort of position Laurice must have been in at the time. By the way, he definitely sleeps on his back and not on his stomach or his side, so remember that. He was lying on his back. Trust me, which is why he remembered the scene the way he did. He was lying on his back. I can't see how it relates. But it does, Your Honor. His head was also in the direction of the bridge. If he was lying on his back with his feet, he'd have seen it the right way. So it's really only this position it could have been. That's the reason why the wires in the sketch go up instead of down. Ah! No way. Laurice Nim witnessed the events while he was lying on his back, face up. In other words, the scene he saw was actually upside down. Just call Ryu. Yeah, have Street Fighter come and destroy the thing. So then, this sketch should actually... I think you'll finally get it, Your Honor. The correct way to view Laurice Nim sketch is like this. Oh my god. This is how it should actually look. The victim's body wasn't flying above the bridge. It was actually swinging below. That's right, just like a pendulum. So, is the other side of the bridge significantly lower than one? Because if it's swinging like a pendulum, it loses momentum. So Irish, let's say she tied it to the rope. It swung up 10 feet extra and then slammed back down on the ground. The autopsy report supports that. It fell 10 feet after death. But if... Hold on. I can't pull up my thing. If they're level, how would that work? It's actually best option is passive-aggressive note and then have them towed if they don't move it or it becomes a recurring issue. 100%, yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah, that only works if one side of the bridge is lower than the other. Of all the things to say. A pendulum! The bridge was burning to a crisp. There was no other way to get it across. But if the body had been found in the Ear Temple, it would have caused problems. This is where the criminal decided to take a gamble. They used a burning bridge to get the body across the other side, and a pendulum was the only way to get it done. Let's think about this for a minute, shall we? Dusky Bridge is 20 yards long, which means it's about that far from the Inner Temple to the opposite cliff. Probably more like 30, but yeah, sounds about right. In order to cover that distance with a pendulum, you'd need rope at least 10 yards long. To get a rope that long, you'd have to plan ahead. Sugar vinegar sprayed after spilling milk on it. Phoenix's defense, it's not only the position of Larry sleeping that explains why he drew it that way, it's also not the first time the game used to whacked out logic like this. Yeah, no, the Blue Badger, in Rise from the Ashes 1.5 did something similar with a sketch. And the lightning strike, that night can only have been an accident. So it doesn't make sense the culprit would have prepared a rope beforehand. So then, they didn't have to get the rope ready. The rope was already right in front of them. What? I'm saying it was just a matter of using what was already there.
In that case, Mr. Wright, please give us an explanation to support your theory. What makes you think the criminal had rope on hand to create a pendulum?
The bridge looks pretty level. I don't see how she would have had the momentum to swing back up and land on the other side. But I'm also going to say the game's not going to talk about that because, you know, that's a point that would make sense and make this impossible, and why would we, you know, address such a thing at that point? When has that ever stopped this fucking game?
And the meaning of this is...
If you want to know where the rope came from, it's hanging right in front of your glorious beard!
Ah! This is one of the wires from the bridge?
When lightning struck the bridge and set it on fire, one of the suspension wires came loose from its anchor. The criminal didn't have any time to waste, so they tied the wire around Lee Stu-Nim's body. Ah! Yep, there she goes. And somehow gained a lot of momentum there at them. It threw her! It threw her! Oh, silly me. The rope came undone at just the right moment and flung her through the air. You know, that would work. I just don't know how you would account for that. Because there was simply no other way to move the body. Ha! Go 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 go.
Mr. Godot! Seems Mr. Godot is more focused on his own coffee than answering my question. The odds of rope being readily available were very high. I suppose it's not actually impossible at all.
The game has an unfortunate habit of not letting logic get in its way. Truly a shame, given, you know, its whole thing is logic and contradictions, but, you know, part of why we love it.
Possible or impossible, that's not the question we need to ask. There's only one question. Did that really happen?
I suppose, yes, the possibility of it is irrelevant. It's whether or not it actually happened.
Trite. I wonder if you can prove what happened to us. Do you have any actual evidence the body was swung over like a pendulum?
But the autopsy report, right? Because it fell 10 feet after death, I assume? I can't save here. But I think that would be it. Yeah. The bridge is made with bungee cable. Ah, of course. Silly me. Now it all makes sense. Before I present my evidence, let me review what we know so far. According to this photo, one of the wires was snapped. Looking at the map, we can see it was the one in front of the Ear Temple.
So then, that was the spot where the criminal...
Yes, precisely. Now let us consider the body's movement by looking at the overhead map again. If the body was pushed from this point, how? Whee! Splat. It would drop on the opposite bank at approximately this point.
Did you say drop?
Well, they must have failed to catch the body on the other bank. What? What makes you think something like that happened? Because I have evidence to suggest her body dropped some distance. What kind of evidence? Take a look at this autopsy report. It says here that her body fell about 10 feet after her death.
10 feet? Hmm?
That's most likely the height difference between the two sides. They could have illustrated that a little bit better. The body overswung due to forward momentum, but then came loose and fell about 10 feet. Then, as a result of the landing impact, the crystal sphere was knocked loose. Bats. Yes, this blood-stained crystal amethyst. The one that came off of Miss Dusnim's staff. And even more important is the place where the crystal sphere was found.
Indeed. I believe it's already marked on this overhead map. The crystal was found. Oh!
Precisely, Your Honor. In the very spot where the pendulum would arrive if given the right amount of speed. I'll go ahead and say this probably wouldn't work, but it makes more sense than the fucking statue from the second game, so I'll go along with it.
This explains your theory quite well, Mr. Wright. You proved bribed us with the way the body could have been moved that night. An impressive deduction, Mr. Wright. Most impressive.
Alright. The reveal was good. I'll give him that. The reveal was good. So I was like, huh, what was that? It just cuts to him with coffee. Ahem. I thought this cold coffee might help cool you down.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Godot?
That was dark and bitter guess you made, trite. But you forgot about one thing.
Oh, and what would that be?
The aroma. Okay, but... yeah, actually, what did I forget, dickhead? The rest of the court doesn't speak Coffeenese. Elaborate! If the criminal had sent the body to the other side, like you say, then naturally there must have been an accomplice lying in wait to catch it.
An accomplice?
The criminal wasn't able to cross Dusky Bridge. So who collected the body? What do you have to say to that, trite?
Mr. Godot is correct. This can't be the work of a single person. Well, Mr. Wright, you know what you must do.
Yes, Your Honor. The body couldn't have made it to Hazakura Temple without an accomplice.
Very well, then. If you please, Mr. Wright. Who was the person that received the body at Hazakura Temple's side?
Well, about that. I would argue Iris. Because I'm pretty sure the one who did this was Dahlia being channeled. The one who did all the shit on the other side of the temple was Dahlia being channeled. But I don't know if they want me to say that right away. Then again, she was executed last month, so the argument, I guess, it's going to come up either way, that Dahlia was being channeled and that they are twins and the real Iris is somewhere else. We're looking at Dahlia right now. You're not evil? That's something an evil person would say. I think it... I want to say it's Iris. Because Iris is also there to stage the crime scene. It's a lot if I'm wrong, though. It can only be you, Sister Iris. Huh? But I don't see why you're so surprised. The only way to transport the body from Dusky Bridge is by snowmobile. But with her bad back, Sister Bikini could never pick up a body like that. You're the only one that could have managed it. Trite. Were you even listening to the witness's testimony? On the night of the crime, this little cutie pie was on cleanup duty in the Inner Temple Garden after the mother-daughter bloodbath. I haven't forgotten, but have you, Mr. Godot? This witness was also seen at Hazakura Temple. desecrating the corpse of the victim.
Strange indeed. It's almost as if, on that night, the defendant was in 2 different places at the same time. But how could that be?
You know, I gotta be honest, I'm surprised it took them 3 games to do twins. It's such an obvious plot twist. I guess they did do the dead sister replaces the alive sister, or the alive sister replaces dead sister in the second game, but that's not quite the same. They went full twins with this one. Sister Iris, let me ask you something. Why didn't you mention it when you first gave your testimony? Mention what? The pendulum, of course. Using this sketch drawn by an eyewitness, I have established how the body was moved using a burnt-out bridge. Which means it's now a fact that has occurred, something you should have already known. No, I had no idea. I didn't know anything about a pendulum. I keep calling it a pendulum. I don't think it's exactly a pendulum. It swung like one, I guess, but without, like, proper balance and placement, it's not... Whatever. I'm splitting hairs. The body couldn't have been passed along the other side without your help. So you should have known about it. In fact, it'd be impossible for you to be clueless about this whole thing. Unless you're not really Iris to begin with. What? How can you say that, Mr. Wright? I think there's only one other case that utilizes twins. What trivia? Oh, the trivia that you're not evil.
What kind of nonsense is this? You're saying this witness isn't Iris of Hazakor Temple?
Are you serious, Trite? You mean this woman is? There's no one besides Iris that could have received the corpse that night. Now I get it. Now I know why I've been sick to my stomach this whole trial. It was that sushi I ate last night, but also why her whole demeanor changed so suddenly from yesterday, and why she's trying to pin this murder on Maya. The woman that's standing in the witness stand, her real name is Larry Hadalia Hawthorne. Because I'm not evil, I'm chaotic. Ah, I see. Important distinction. I never thought I'd have to utter your name again, you stupid bitch. Let alone see you, you ugly whore. It's been a long time. Dahlia Hawthorne. More like Dahlia Shitstorm. No, that doesn't track. I'll come up with one. Your Honor, take it away. I gotta come up with one. Hawthorne? Sister Iris had a twin sister. And you're looking at her, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
That name rings some bells. Distant bells, but bells nonetheless.
It was, like, what, 7 years ago this happened? So, yeah, okay, fair enough. Can't be expected to remember every case he sits on.
Ha! It's just your imagination, Gramps.
I mean, it's not, but
this file contains all the relevant data about Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh yes, I remember now. 5 years ago. That case 5 years ago.
My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I just want to say, it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
Oh god. You have bells? Yeah, they're dusty and cracked, but they're there.
The honor is all mine! No, the honor is all mine! Wow, I have not aged a day. Damn, I'm good looking. According to this, Dahlia Hawthorne is already dead. Says your execution was carried out last month.
Sometimes I would remember things from 1 year ago. It's hard for me to remember what I had for breakfast this morning, alright? So what? Death has no meaning in this courtroom. You know, normally I'd call you an idiot, but... yeah, gotta agree with him on that. What? Judge, have you seen... Judge, you've seen a 9-year-old girl transform into a stacked, scantily clad 27-year-old woman multiple times. Like, that doesn't just happen. and transform back. Also, that woman used to be a lawyer in this court system who was a victim. You've seen this. Whatever.
Wait a moment. How can you... My sister, she's already dead. What kind of...
Does that mean the court got the wrong one? I guess we'll find out. I think they executed Dahlia, but Dahlia's being channeled right now, is what's happening. You of all people should already understand. After all, the blood of the master of the Kurain channeling technique flows within that body.
The Kurain channeling technique? Now, where have I heard that?
That's right, you're not Dahlia Hawthorne herself. You're the spirit of Dahlia, currently inhabiting the body of a spirit medium.
What an exciting story. Exciting, but quite impossible. You're asking us to buy that Dahlia Hawthorne just happened to be channeled by someone on the very night of the murder to a temple where her twin sister Iris was. Well, if you're gonna put things that way, then yes.
Phoenix, you have evidence!
We're supposed to believe a coincidence like that just happened.
Naturally, it was no coincidence. The whole thing was part of a plan from the very beginning. It was all written right here in these instructions.
Ah, what's that?
These instructions were written by your mother, Morgan Fay. And part of the plan called for Dahlia Hawthorne to be channeled that night. There were 2 irises at Hazakura Temple.
2 of them.
Even the time of the channeling was planned out. As soon as you hear the lights out bell. In other words, 10 p.m. However, Iris was seen before dinner time.
That means the Iris that was at dinner was the real Iris.
And the Iris who gave me this hood in the main hall was also the real Iris. Me and the Iris Sister Bikini saw at the Inner Temple was someone else dressed as her, namely one Dahlia Hawthorne.
Picture the courtroom leaning in on the edge of seats eating popcorn now. Yeah, like leaning back and forth like they're watching a tennis match every time the lawyers speak. Do you even know what you're saying, trite? This whole channeling the spirit of Dahlia Hawthorne business. Yes, it's true, you found plans that talk about it. However, there's one thing that's perfectly clear. The witness currently standing in the stand is the real Iris. What?
Weird coincidences have happened in this game, as I recall, but never trust a coincidence. They're sneaky bastards. Very Deep Space Nine of you. Never trust a coincidence. I believe in them. I just don't trust in them. Calm down and remember what you know about the night of the crime. After meeting Sister Bikini, the Dahlia Hawthorne that had been channeled would have been stranded at the Inner Temple due to the lightning strike. Whee! Yahoo! That looks like a fun ride, honestly. It was later the body was moved by pendulum. That's right. Naturally, that would mean that Iris that received the body was the real Iris. Are you with me so far? Yes. After being notified of what happened, the police came to Hazakura Temple's main hall. There they found Iris in her room and arrested her. And ever since, she's been under police supervision at the detention center. Nah, she ran off yesterday after Edgeworth was, paralyzed by an earthquake. Yes, I suppose. I can't deny any of that.
Phew. Thank goodness. It looks like he's finally convinced.
But something still seems off. Way off! I'm not convinced that Iris here is the same one from the other night. Ha! I suppose you're about to say something really ridiculous. Like the real Iris and the spirit of Dahlia somehow switched places. Switched places? To be perfectly honest, there are still quite a few things I don't understand, but I do know that unless we confirm the witness's identity, we can't continue with the trial. Iris doesn't have the spiritual powers needed to channel Dahlia, which means they must have switched places somewhere. Well, Mr. Wright, since the time she was arrested at Hazakura Temple, have there been any chances for Iris to switch places with Dahlia? There was one. Garrick's a sneaky bastard. Just like a coincidence he doesn't trust. Yep. Your Honor! Love that, Garrick. I think there might have been one chance.
Oh? Explain yourself.
Yesterday, for a few minutes, Iris's whereabouts were unknown.
Unknown? What do you mean?
What I mean is, there was a span of time in which Iris was able to move about freely, unsupervised.
Well, who was it? Who would give a murder suspect time to move about freely like that?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I know you didn't mean to. It wasn't your fault. The person who gave Iris a chance to move freely about was... Miles Edgeworth!
This is Mr. Edgeworth, isn't it?
Your Honor, there was a fairly large earthquake yesterday, was there not?
An earthquake? Sorry, I'm flashing back to something I wasn't there for. Hold on. Ah, yes, and then Edgeworth came up and said, "How could I have?" She fled. She escaped. That about right? That sound good to you guys? I wasn't there for it, so I don't obviously know, but I think that's what happened.
We went to the Inner Temple right away. And it's true, Iris was already there. However, they had already switched places by that point in time. When I arrived at Training Hall, I was met by none other than Dahlia Hawthorne.
That's quite enough already, Mr. Wright. Now see here. No judge in his right mind would consider the idea of spirit channeling and...
I assume Godot? Be quiet. Oh. Wow. You really just... You coulda... What incredibly bad timing on your part. He was about to denounce this whole thing as ridiculous, and you're like, actually, let me speak up here. What? 5 more seconds you couldn't have waited? God damn, Dahlia. You're the worst. In so many ways. Earthquake Judge, you know, the Earth decides to do a violent chimichanga all of a sudden. Yeah, fair enough. It's been a long time, Mr. Judge.
That voice?
Guess I'll have to ask you again. Upon meeting a beautiful lady, always ask for her name and profession. That's one of my rules. Alright, the callback was kind of good. I'll give you that one. Dahlia Hawthorne. And my current profession? Permanently retired. Just so we're clear, that means dead. Yes, that means dead. Okay, thank you.
Ha! So you're not going to bother hiding your identity anymore, huh?
Why should I? After all, I'm dead. There's really nothing you can do to punish me.
What's going on here?
Dahlia Hawthorne. I never thought we'd meet again. And I never thought we'd meet like this. But this time, I'll end it. For her and for myself. That's why she said the bit about hating Phoenix's guts yesterday. Yeah, it seemed oddly cheerful for Iris to be saying that. It makes more sense if it's Dahlia. How much is left? Remember when I thought I wouldn't be able to fucking fill 3 hours with this? God, there's 2 more parts left. Jesus. I mean, we gotta finish this today, right? I guess if I follow the guide, I'll go quicker, but... Yeah. I guess we'll wait and see how this goes.
Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness?
Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that we're to learn the truth. We need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night.
The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya, and then have the blame pinned on Iris,
The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway.
Yeah, we're going to be here a while. You're 11 plus hours into this case, and the end is nowhere to be seen. I can see the end on this guide, actually. Roughly at the halfway mark. It's been 2 hours. Wait a minute.
Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fey? Yes. You have a problem with that? Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that...
Watch yourself, trite.
If you've got a problem, solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules.
Mr. Godot's correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well.
To kill Maya? Could it be true?
Hey, so if I fuck up at this point, who does he find guilty? Does he find Maya guilty, or does he find Iris guilty? Does he find Dolly? What are we doing? What happens if I fuck up at this point and lose all my stamina? You were executed last month, correct?
Yes, I was hanged.
Ugh.
It wasn't exactly pleasant.
How'd you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fey?
Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan.
Nick is declared guilty. Oh, no. No.
Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter.
Yeah, Morgan's a little extreme.
All to make Pearl Fey the master of Curate. She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister Misty took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan?
Well, her first plan involved Mimi Eenie, or Eenie Meenie, or whatever. You're talking about Pearl Fey, is that correct?
Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us.
You and your twin sister, Iris.
That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
Rigged? No!
They know.
Mods banned that man for saying it's rigged. Eenie Meenie, yeah, whatever.
The only person I ever really cared about in my life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple.
Wow, how did, like, a 6-year-old do that? You mean Iris?
Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right?
So you got rid of one child to have exactly the same number of siblings.
And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible. It's weird that he abandoned one daughter and not the second, but okay.
The really horrible one was that woman, that bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fey. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fey heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family.
For it to work, Maya would have to die. Maya would have to die? But why?
For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya.
How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all.
That's, yeah, probably about right.
She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter. And naturally, the life of Maya Fey as well.
How could anyone do that?
Nick, she tried it one game ago. You were there.
You? You were gonna kill Maya!
Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow these instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would simply use her body and finish the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me.
Ah. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple.
She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it.
And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini.
I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber?
You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway.
Plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway. I think the plan was a success.
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of Master will pass on to Pearl Fey.
That's absurd. Maya is just trapped inside the sacred cavern. Why am I talking like this?
Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Beanie.
Ooh. Suppose I had that one coming.
Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people.
Okay, bitch. You kill people. I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan? I almost said Morgan Le Fay, like the fucking Arthurian character.
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling your own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, but the kind and gentle soul that you are, you may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me, why?
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only acted in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. My own personal satisfaction.
Okay, you're not really telling us, though. This woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead.
Understand now why I would kill Maya Fey? What my goal was?
Huapa. I might be following a guide at this point just so I can get through this as quickly as possible and not, drag this out for... Oh, there's a lot more to go, though. Jesus. This might be another day. Holy crap. I mean, I can get through this part, at least. Because 4-3 looks like a long one, actually. There's 4 more testimonies. Good God.
Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself?
4 more testimonies after this one, by the way. Which is still not even halfway done.
As I said, none of you have power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either.
You want to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey. I knew somehow this was it. I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up.
And the reason it was impossible was it perhaps Mia Fey had already died?
Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans.
Just for that? You would kill Maya? Also, were your conversations in prison with your mother, who is also in prison, not fucking monitored by anyone? No one said, hey, guys, they're planning on killing someone. Maybe we should, I don't know, put a stop to that. No, we're just gonna... Okay. Their goal is no different than that of Morgan Fey.
As they say, the apple does not fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me.
Ah.
That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned up my hair and put on a demon warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple.
So, it was Elise Dunim who channeled her after all. Wait, what? That ridiculous... No. Wait. Oh, did she kill Elise? No, wait, if Elise was channeling her, then Elise couldn't have died?
That ridiculous head nut never noticed a thing.
Look at her jiggle!
She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back.
What did you do then?
That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. I actually got the dagger I got from the storeroom and...
So then you're saying you stabbed Maya?
It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean, no clear memory?
I don't know. I think I was stabbed.
You were stabbed!
At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me, I'm sure of it.
That's not like her at all! Maya wouldn't stab a french fry with a plastic fork! Well, no, you just eat those whole. You don't... No one... Never mind.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness, but before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her.
I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end.
That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops.
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes.
I guess Elise must have channeled her. Huh.
When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern?
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there.
But how did you wind up in there?
I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself.
For a ghost, you're one tough cookie.
I wanted to get out there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you, huh?
I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you're actually confined against your will inside this sacred cavern?
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who?
Could it have been Maya?
I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I could have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself at the back of the sealed cavern.
That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went in there to cover the hanging scrolling gravy.
Yeah, we know that.
Still, I finally managed to remove the lock, but I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flies had already started to gather.
The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct?
Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After the big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself. The real Iris? She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came from the Scarlet Cavern to get a feel for the situation. Scarlet? The Sacred Cavern to get a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then I learned the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan had succeeded? So, how did this happen? So Elise channeled her, Dahlia. Dahlia attacked Maya. Something happened. Elise wound up dead. Then Maya channeled Dahlia, hid herself in the cavern, and now here we are. Because we know Pearl isn't channeling her, and that there's no one else it could be doing the channeling. No one else has the power to do that. That's the only explanation of events that I think makes any sort of sense at this point.
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I assumed it was Pearl Fey.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that actually called my spirit back was Misty Fey, the picture book author.
What?
Well, it's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fey. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is...
matricide. The sin of killing her own mother.
Well, I think murder in general. Patricide. You know what? For the men, patricide equal to matricide. Get woke, Dahlia, ya bitch. Fucking stupid.
Ahem. Order. Order in the court. What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fey. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fey's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Easily could have been self-defense, though. Ridiculous! That's nonsense!
Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What? What do you mean? What's the so-called evidence?
The fact that Maya Fey has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it?
Huh?
The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the Inner Temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else?
Eagle River.
Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever.
Wouldn't I have found her when I also went into Eagle River and wound up at the bottom, or?
So what do you have to say now? Ooh, you hate that nickname.
Why'd I change my ringtone? So far, whoever's ended up in the river has been alive later. You know what? You make a point. Oh, it's his ringtone. Oh, sorry. That's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Alright, Steel Samurai. Phoenix is like, by the way, Dahlia, I faked every orgasm. Heh. Which, if you don't know, is a reference to The Naked Gun. I'm not just being weird. It's a reference to The Naked Gun. Don't cancel me. Twitch. Ahem. It's the River of Life. Apparently. Dahlia, somebody has to be channeling you right now, and the two who... Well, she doesn't know Pearls is alive. She hasn't met her. Pearls is hiding out with Loris in the Cabin of Losers, if you'll recall, Arg. So she assumes Pearl is channeling her right now. Is what I assume is happening. Godot here. Okay, thanks.
Was it something important?
They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great!
What about Maya?
There was a woman inside the cave.
Was it Maya Fey?
It was the accused, Sister Iris.
Huh? Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that.
So, What about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found in the sacred cavern. No, it can't be. I told you, didn't I? She's dead. No. No! Oh my god.
It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end.
Wouldn't it be funny if, like, assuming Maya is channeling her, wouldn't it be funny if, like, we rule, Dahlia's spirit leaves and Maya just is there and she's like, oh, what happened? And we're like, oh, shit! The reverse double cross! And then Maya explains what happened and we all go home happy and have a drink. But no, we're gonna fucking drag this out for another stream, apparently. Nick, I know you're a theater kid, but use your brain, please. I mean, yeah, Phoenix should know that she's fine, because he knows Pearls isn't channeling her, which means it has to be Maya.
Sadly, it appears the killer of Miss Elise Dusnim, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death in the raging waters of the Eagle River. Who names a river after an eagle, anyway? That thing flies. Rivers of water. Stupid name. It can't be. Petition to rename it Fey River, in honor of Maya Fey.
Ha! Okay. Trite. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Yeah, a good lawyer told me that. I assume you also heard it from the good lawyer. No matter how improbable it may seem.
Well, what is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot?
According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into Eagle River. Herlock Sholmes told me that. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, it must have been from the inner temple side near the bridge. That's right. That's where she jumped from. But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. Oh, is it? I mean... I don't know. Yeah, okay, at the bridge there's a lot of rocks, but if you go to that top right support cable, it's pretty close to the water up there. Gotta be honest with you, I think she might have been able to make that jump. Well, anyway. Ahem. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, trite. That's my job. What? Just relax and think through the whole thing again. What was that about the panties, though? Are you getting mine twisted up, or are you twisting yours up? Shut up. Forget I said it. Just think. So it's impossible. Maya couldn't have thrown herself into the Eagle River. But what do my panties have to do with this? Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself in the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim? The Hazakura Temple map, Your Honor! That comment caught me off guard. Thank you. I try to entertain. Speaking of the phrase, there's a theory that Sherlock is an ancestor of Spock from Star Trek. Oh, I have heard that, yeah. Spock says it was by his human ancestor that famously said by Sherlock, so hence the theory. Yes. He does have a human ancestor, and it is theorized it's Sherlock, who's a fictional character, but might have been real in Star Trek. It's not important. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness. What did you say? 11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff of the Air Temple is a big rock shelf. Oh, you're right. She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we would have been able to see her body in this photo. Well, maybe. It could be, below the frame, but whatever. Ha! So you finally figured it out.
You. No!
Order!
You're just playing with me. My face body is at the bottom of Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding.
Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Yes, you literally just said that.
Yeah, literally. Ahem, Maya Fey wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We now know that she didn't throw herself into Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there is still one other place she could be.
What? What is this one possibility you are talking about?
That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body, then?
It's not a perfect theory by any means, but it's a theory, and out there in the wilderness of the internet.
Finally, the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there's a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment.
Spank it! Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya Fey is this very instant? She's in the Air Temple, Hazakura Temple, this very courtroom! There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right in this very courtroom.
What? Maya Fey's here? You say she's in my courtroom? Turn towards the bailiff who pulls off a mask. Oh, bailiff! You sly devil swapping yourself with Maya Fey. I never would have seen that coming.
Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said,
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That doesn't sound a thing like me, but so what?
I think there's one more thing you misunderstood.
What do you mean?
Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne?
Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Fey, that pathetic little sniveling runt.
You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it.
I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened. Is there any explanation for
why you couldn't channel a spirit?
It could happen if someone else is already channeling that same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did, but who?
Bitch, keep up. Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now, am I right? The Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. Right about now. It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could. Maya Fey! This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty is gone. There's only one possibility left.
Come on already! I can't stand the tension!
Dahlia Hawthorne! The person channeling you right now must be Maya Fey.
What?
Just starts bashing her head on the table to cause brain damage. But how could that be? Remember what this witness Dahlia Hawthorne just said about her goal?
She said her goal was to kill Maya Fey.
Yes, that's right! But if Maya Fey channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her...
Ha! Well, Gramps, what would happen?
Could it be?
Looks like you finally understand, Your Honor.
Well, I don't. What are you going on about?
What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you.
To protect herself from me?
Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura was closed off and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide?
You mean that's when she channeled me?
All this time you thought you'd been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you!
No, don't say that.
Magic. Surprised Pearl can channel Mia at all. Pearls is a 10? 9! Point is, Pearl's a small child, and Maya's a well-endowed woman. How does the channeling even work? To be fair, it seems like Mia, whenever she's needed, just sort of inserts herself into whatever member of her family she's related to in order for Phoenix to have advice and look at some scantily clad titties. So, you know, Pearl and her 9-year-old clothing just happen to be sufficient. Let's not worry about it too much and just, you know, roll with the punches on that one.
You're saying I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Yeah. Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious?
Well, then who's channeling you, you bitch? Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into Eagle River. And again, who's channeling you? This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way Maya could disappear from the inner temple.
I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like her has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea?
Well... Oh, speaking of which... Mia!
Mia Fey.
It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. These clothes do not fit at all. I mean, you can... Jesus Christ, you can see the inside of her right cleavage past the outside of her right cleavage. My God. I mean, same. So it's true. It was you. Yes. Ha! You're something else.
But what? What are you doing here?
That hair. It's Pearl's, all right. Also, this has happened before, Nick. She's very close to flashing the courtroom. Oh, yeah. I mean, this trial has had everything. Twins, titties, Larry, fire, Von Karma, a Canadian, Edgeworth, coffee. It's had everything. Might as well include the gratuitous sexual content. That's just ticking all the boxes at that point. It's Pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya at the Inner Temple Garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. Wouldn't be the first time you were made the fool, Dahlia. True. Close to flashing. Yeah, practically flashing everyone right now. Well, yes, that would be close to, Arg. Close to and practically mean the same thing.
I was stabbed by Maya Fey.
Actually, Maya lost consciousness the same time as you. She did. Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed. When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help. She channeled me. She explained in a memo she had paper and pen, sure, why not, a situation that she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do.
She did that? I can't believe it.
Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear. And that was... I know you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time. I wrote down 2 things Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible. And lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. But not in that order. Very importantly, lock yourself in, then channel. Because you wouldn't have the ability to lock after you. So just reverse those 2. Does it though? She's wearing 9-year-old's clothes. Pretty sure she's flashing. Yes, she is. But you said practically flashing. And close to flashing and practically flashing are the same thing. You're omitting the word practically now and saying she is just flashing. My point, whatever. So it was Maya who put the lock there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those two things? If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fay. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan, so all she was trying to do was follow her mother Morgan Fay's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
You could have hung out in Maya's body and just, like, waited for Dahlia, and then kicked her ass. Just saying. You've got, like, 2 feet on her? So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fay to kill Maya at all costs.
Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you? I won't forget this.
Oh yeah, what are you gonna do? Have someone else channel you bitch? Unlikely. English is a weird language, not my native one. Yeah, fair enough. Probably wouldn't want to risk hurting Pearl. That's fair.
Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure.
Well, it was Morgan's plan, but yeah, it didn't work, so. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say?
What do you mean by another?
Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure.
What? How dare you?
Well, I mean, the whole Terry Falls thing definitely was a failure. You didn't get the diamond, and you didn't kill me. You killed Doug Swallow, got arrested for it, and were executed. I think that's it for your crimes, but yeah, they were all terrible. They all failed miserably. 11 years ago. God. Still a pedophile, Terry. The fake kidnapping, your very first crime. Ah, sploosh. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but after Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed.
Shut your mouth. That wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman.
And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Spoilers, you didn't. I'm still alive. Well, I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. That's a lie, it's still pretty funny. You're a terrible excuse for a criminal. Don Tigre was better than you, and that guy was an idiot. Wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face. And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. Mia Fey. Mia Fey. Mia Fey. Mia Fey. You spinster. That's the worst you could come up with? She has more than 2 feet on her. My single breast weighs as much as Dahlia does. And I bet any money that Mia knows self-defense move or two. I don't know, she got killed by Red White. She wouldn't have had any problem taking care of Dahlia. He might have hit her from behind, to be fair. I don't remember how that case went exactly. I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten that spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. Yeah, well, you suck, so. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. I've got more woman in my titties than you have in your entire body, bitch. What? What did you say? That was so unhinged, I actually cannot process what you just said to me. Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you'll never defeat me. No, that's distinctly not what as long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all eternity. I'll go off dissing Furio Tigre. He's nowhere near as bad as Dahlia. Exactly. I'm bad at name calling, but I think I have a list of names to call someone. There you go. I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead. What about it? Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. For you, there is no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you're executed. That was a month ago. The narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. It's a little literal with that metaphor, I think. You're wrong. It can't be. How could you? I lose this likes of you? It no longer matters, you stupid loser. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is you to come out of my face body right now. Ah! Aye. Jesus. Oh, God. Huh. I'm not ready. Not ready to go. Doesn't sound like hell cares. I got to admit, that was pretty impressive visually to look at.
Nick, sis.
Definitely fainted. What do you mean, look what I did? When past the dude who've utilized some underhand tactics to kill Mia. Needs an exorcist when you can just bully the ghost. I mean, that's what an exorcism is, to be fair. Now then, I assume you are the real Iris.
Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern.
I must say you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne?
How is there another part? Good lord. There's a whole other part I'm looking at, and it's like 4 testimonies long, and they don't look short either. There's a lot of present, press, present, press. Good God. If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to hell where she came from.
Seems Misty Faye wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan.
It's a chunky chapter. It certainly is. Yes, Your Honor.
A tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end.
It's called that?
It seems.
What is it called that? That was Hazakura Temple.
It would do best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. I think we can all agree. No one do it. Honor system. Guys, no one channel her again. Pinky swear.
Your Honor.
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to keep up on the Curain channeling technique.
Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult?
I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and in all that time I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different.
Really? It took you years to learn that?
And takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we must have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Never thought of it that way. Is that the writer telling us, the audience, just, it takes place in its own world, immerse yourself, don't worry about previous cases and established facts and abilities?
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of the Iris of the Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Non-identical twins are more common than identical. It's true. What are they, fraternal, paternal? I think it's fraternal twins.
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor.
Judge has 3 flashes of actually making sense from time to time. Like right now, he suggested nobody ever channel Dahlia again. Yeah, fair.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot? This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what it means. What? Trite. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony.
Huh? Dahlia's testimony. Flashback.
This happened earlier today. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone. Yes, that's right. The person was ultimately killed in the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Elise Du Nim, no, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it.
This isn't over!
Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence.
No way.
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony. The prosecution is ready to call our final witness. Final witness? This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye. Indeed.
Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor?
Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney. Very well then. Who is the final witness? Ha! Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case. Someone who saw the murder take place? The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes. You mean Maya? I was gonna say Larry. We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fey to the witness stand. Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fey to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial. Hey, Trite, I've got something to say to you, so listen up. What is it? I don't think much of you as a lawyer.
No, you fucking don't say. Hadn't clued into that fact.
It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case.
Alright, well. When you're right, I guess.
Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you.
No! Sometimes it's Gumshoe. You've got some nerve! Although...
But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself. Eh?
Whatever they're called, non-identical twins are more common than identical ones. Correct. If your DNA tests children of identical twins, they register as half-siblings, despite being cousins. I knew that one, yes.
That's enough. This court is now in recess. Whee! I'm going on the slide.
Good God. I think I gotta call it here. It isn't even the fucking checkpoint, and I gotta call it here. Because I'm at the basically 3-hour mark. Oh my... I still... What do we have left? I have one more part of this trial, and then 4 testimonies with about 4 to 5 steps each. Call it average 5 steps each. Shut up, Adobe. What are you even talking about? So I have 20 more things to get through. Jesus Christ. They really pack it in at the end here. How did the Game Boy Advance have this much room on it, for God's sakes? I guess they got good at optimizing. 12 hours in and it's not over? You ain't wrong. But that is going to be it for me, is my point. I will be back with this game on Sunday. I will not, as I said, I will post on this in Discord. I will not be streaming Friday. A thing came up at work that is making me stay late. Them's the breaks. It happens. Longer stream on Friday, so they had to cut a case from Justice for All. Yeah. But yeah, they probably got better at compartmentalizing and managing data on cartridges by this point. Yep, longer stream Friday to make up for no stream Thursday. Sorry about it. Life happens. That's all I can say. And it's going to keep happening. Next month, my brother's getting married, so I'm going to be... And my wedding anniversary is happening, so I'm going to be in and out of streaming. The schedule's going to be a mess for a while here. Should smooth out by June, though. I can tell you that. Till then, love you all. Be good people. I will see you Friday. Toodle pip.